It's 2007, and I am sitting at my desk building my first startup, trying to get with the strategy of getting on Google's first page, #1 search ranking every single time for everything, every service we offered for the company. It was boring work. It felt a little slow, but it worked incredibly well. And here's what's exciting about right now. That same window, that same opportunity to rank first on every search page for Google is now open again, except your buyers aren't searching on Google anymore. They're asking ChatGPT or Claude or even Gemini, who is the best person for this? And the machines name 3 people, just 3, not 10. If you're not one of the 3, you simply don't exist. You're not on page 2. There is no page 2 this time. My guest today figured this out before anyone. Today's guest is Tim Harvey. He helps real estate agents become the name that AI says out loud. And what he's doing for agents is the same exact thing every founder watching needs to understand about their own name. My name is Justin Obi. This is Return on Reputation. Let's go. All right, Tim, welcome to Return on Reputation. It is awesome to have you here, man. Very excited for the show today.
I'm happy to be here. I really am. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man. So I heard what you were doing, and we had our mutual friend, John.
Great guy. Decent guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah. I knew him from way back in the day, and he reached out. He's, hey, I actually, before he reached out, I saw what you guys were doing with FlyDragon. And I was like, that's very interesting, because you guys were ahead of the curve on that. But I want to go back further before that to start, because you were at Curator, if I'm saying that correctly. And
Yes.
you spent 7 years there.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. And that was all about Google, like winning on Google search.
Not just Google. So we did basically everything for real estate agents across the United States and Canada. So websites, email marketing, yes, Google, PPC, Google Business Profile, Facebook ads. If it was digital marketing, we were doing it for top producing agents.
Okay, gotcha. And so you were doing everything there. What made you walk away after 7 years and then start FlyDragon?
I always wanted to be a founder at some point. I was always more of the back. I was the COO. I was always back at the house running operations. Operations been my through line throughout my entire career. But I had this itch, but I was waiting for the perfect idea, which probably doesn't come often, but this was it for me. I saw in 2024, we had been using AI internally at Curator at that time for a year or two. And I started seeing, I think it was GPT-3 at the time, seeing it recommend agent names. Until then, it would toe the party line and say,
Okay.
well, Google it, go to Zillow. I started seeing names. I said, okay, this is interesting. I think we can treat AI as a marketing channel. And so that was the big bold bet made at the tail end of 2024. And the rest has been history. It is working, and it's working extremely well. And I hope to help your listeners in whatever industry that they're in understand what is possible today during this, what I'll call AI gold rush.
Yeah. And so that's why I think that's the exciting part is AEO is so new. I've talked to a lot of SEO experts, and even a lot of them have said, hey, we're still figuring this out. This is new. It's evolving every single day. It sounds like you're one of those guys. You were in it heavily with Curator for 7 years. And then you went all in on this one thing, right? So what you guys do at FlyDragon is you help real estate agents win in AI search, AEO or GEO, whatever we're calling it right now.
Insert whatever sexy new acronym that's out there. I like to call it AI visibility.
Okay.
Sometimes let's say AI SEO, just to simplify what we mean. But to the average agent who might not be familiar with the terminology, I just tell them we help real estate agents be recommended by AI. But the principles apply to any industry, right? It's not just real estate agents. You could be an HVAC company, a founder. The same principles apply.
Well, that's why I'm excited, because I'm like, okay, let's just zoom out. I know you guys are specialized in real estate right now, focused on that. But for everyone listening, I think there's a lot to benefit from. It's new. I'm excited because I feel like 2006, 7, 8, around there, like SEO was the thing. And it was, if you knew what you're doing, like that was our entire, when I started my first company, that's what we did. We were like, it was a Boston local company focused on providing a great service. We were doing sports leagues. And we were like, let's just own the top search for Boston kickball, Boston dodgeball. And we did. We were like the top search, and that drove for free. And we were doing we were sharing links and doing all those things.
All the black hat SEO tactics of back in the day.
All of that. And that obviously evolved further and further over time. And now I feel like we're like early innings again. So if you miss that wave, or if you're like,
Yeah,
now is the time.
you're spot on. You're
Yeah.
spot on. I say this all the time. So we've been doing this now for a little over a year and a half. Early on, like super early, my biggest challenge is I've got to educate these business owners on this possibility, the opportunity
Yeah.
slash threat. Because if you're a top producing agent, they don't even realize that their competitors are getting these phone calls. So that was priority number one, was I have to educate agents that this thing is even a thing. Because you're right, there was SEO in the early 2000s. And then, at least for in the real estate industry, Facebook
Yeah.
ads, we started to pioneer those in 2016, 2017. And then 2019, it's Google Business Profile. In every single, I'll call it generation, we have that cohort of real estate agents who are like, oh man, I missed the boat. I really wish I
Yeah.
adopted this early. So this was me a year and a half ago saying, this is it. If you're looking for the next opportunity, it's here. This is going to be bigger than all the other opportunities combined.
It's yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The other piece is, I don't know why we all do this. I feel like people confide in their AI, right? Their chats, and they're like, some people I've even heard are using it as their therapist,
I
right?
have
Like
read
they're,
that too.
which is wild. So there's this inherent trust for
Yeah.
whatever reason. We are just talking to these machines, but people, do you feel that too? Is there,
Mhm.
there's more trust? Does it act almost like a referral?
So I was just gonna pull it up. I'll summarize the stat, but
Okay.
yes, the answer is yes. I don't use it as a therapist, but I sometimes will just I'll turn it on, I'll just start talking. So sometimes I talk to it more than my wife. I get good feedback. But you're right that the I call it the new friends and family referral.
Yeah. Okay.
Real estate referrals are huge. Most real estate agents, their bread and butter is past clients and referrals. And Realtor.com put out the study 6-ish to 9 months ago. And they found they were asking buyers and sellers, who do you trust most to give you information about the market? Position number one, the real estate agent. Makes sense. You're the expert.
Mm.
Position two, AI. Position three, friends, family, neighbors.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
We're like, wait a second. That is what jumped out to me in this report. There's a lot of good info there. Like, nobody's talking about that one.
Right.
We trust AI implicitly for whatever reason. Now, maybe that evolves over time, but I think we've realized how infinitely smarter this tool is.
Yeah.
And so we take it at face value. Quick aside to that, related to this, my wife, this is how I know when my wife starts using ChatGPT, this is how I know we've reached mass adoption or we're approaching it. We've segued it out of the early adopters and innovators stages here. We're now in maybe the laggards, but she's been using it. And then maybe this is now 3 months she's been using ChatGPT for
Mhm.
who knows what, but she's using it, which I love. And then a couple of days ago, she says, hey, ChatGPT is wrong. Yes, it can hallucinate. It can be wrong. It's going to give you an
That's
answer,
wrong all
whether
the
it
time.
knows what yeah. So I think that little anecdote there speaks to what's really happening is that the average person, maybe not a power user, right? Just the average novice using AI,
Yeah.
doesn't realize that maybe you should fact check the information that AI is giving you back, but that's not happening. And for better or worse, the at least in my industry here, the buyers, the sellers are taking the AI recommendation and calling the agent recommended.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was at Played Against Sports, right? I was getting some baseballs because I'm
Nice.
coaching Little League, and I needed more because I've lost a bunch over the years. And anyway, I took a photo of the used bat rack
Mhm.
and I uploaded it to, I used Gemini, and I said, hey, I know this is not related, but it's interesting. This is how much I trust it. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. I said, find me a bat in this photo that's an amazing find. And it did.
that's so cool.
Right? It
Yeah.
was like, pick out this bat over on this rack, two from the right. This one is a gem, right? And then I
Yeah.
took the three recommended, I laid them on the flat floor, and I took another photo so it saw the prices.
Yeah.
And I said, which one would you get right now out of these three you recommended? And
Yeah.
it was like, this one is way overpriced. Pull it immediately. You're not buying that. And pick one of these two, depending on your situation.
It's amazing. It's not as cool of a story, but I helped it remodel my bathroom 6 months ago.
That's
Took,
incredible too.
took photos of it, threw it. That was using ChatGPT, I think, at the time,
Yeah.
and then said, "This is what I'm looking for in terms of the type of flooring and freestanding tub and all these things." And it used the dimensions essentially from the image, and it showed me, and it actually looks pretty damn close to the final products. And I was able to go to the contractor and say, "This is what I want right here," and I
Oh,
bought all.
wow.
And I had
Oh, cool.
yeah, it was really cool. I'm like, this is
Are-
it. Make that. I went on, bought the materials for most of them. I said, recommend freestanding tubs and here's my budget. I didn't want to do the work. And so my wife and I have been battling on doing the work for years. I'm like, all right, we'll do it. Here's the set budget. Chat GPT is going to be my basically my general contractor and help me budget and
Yeah.
procure the materials. And then I had a human come in and do the work.
Your designer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And I think there's more and more stories of this happening in our everyday lives. And so I think maybe that's why we trust it so much, where it's
Yeah.
okay.
Help this one
It,
time.
it was right. This 9 out
Mhm.
of 10 past times I've used it when I'm like, what realtor should I use, or what financial advisor should I use, or whatever it is, right? It
Mhm.
knows your situation
Yeah.
oftentimes. And it's
Yeah.
okay, based on what I know about you, here's the 3 people. And it doesn't hand you a link, right? Or 10 links like Google.
Mhm.
You've said it hands them 3 to 5, right?
It depends. Depends on
Okay.
the model you're using. It also depends on how you prompt the question, because you could quite literally ask, like, give me 10 agents. But I would say on average, yeah, you're going to see, it'll change. It'll always vary, but you're going to see a handful of names. Very rarely and we've done hundreds of thousands of queries to test this in different markets. You're
Yeah.
going to see a handful of links,
Got
handful
it.
of names, I should say.
And the problem is that I think if my research is right, like 91%, you've said your benchmark says 91% of agents are invisible to AI.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Which
okay.
is funny. I keep hearing the stat. So this is our original research, put out this benchmark report. Probably didn't do a good enough job at promoting it, but I was at SaaStr maybe about a month ago out in Anaheim, and I meet Tom Ferry, who's the number one coach and real estate coach in the world, I would say.
Okay. Wow.
So meeting him through a common friend and telling him what we do, he's 91% of real estate agents are invisible. And I'm like, that's my stat. That's our
Okay.
data. So I was like, "Oh, where'd you hear that?" And he's trying to think of the source. I'm like, "That's us. That's our report." So nonetheless,
Wow.
we had a great conversation because of that. And then I was at acquisition.com.
Yeah.
Alex Ramosi.
Yep.
Okay, so I was there a few weeks ago for one of their scaling workshops, which was a fantastic event, by the way. Any business owners out there, I would highly recommend that one. I was just blown away. But I meet a real estate coach. So,
Mhm.
okay, we have commonalities. So we're chatting. He's, "Oh, that's what you do. That's really cool." He's, "Hey, 91% of agents are invisible." I'm like, "Yeah, it's that." So the word's gotten out there. But yes, so we've done I don't know, it was hundreds of thousands of queries that we were running. We came up with basically 8.5% of agents don't appear in search. And there are millions of real estate agents in the country. Only 8.4% of agents
Or even
appear.
showing up.
Exactly.
Okay. So wait, 91, I want to dive in. So you just referenced your stat was pulled 3 times by different people. Is that your own process working for AI search?
That
Like,
so what happened was,
you
I think
found your own, or am I
we
miss?
so we did the study, right? We do the
Yeah.
study, we put this bench report together, and then I think we ran a press release. Well, BAM
Okay.
Media,
Okay.
real estate picks it up, this other media company picks it up, but it was layers removed from FlyDragon at that point. But I don't care if we get credit for it or not. What I care about is that agents understand, okay, wait a second,
Yeah.
you're telling me, and we have the data to back this, that 91% of real estate agents in this country are invisible. They're not being recommended. Because I can tell you, Justin, the phones are ringing.
Oh,
It's just not your phone if you're the invisible agent or the
right.
business owner. It's not your phone. But the consumers are using AI to find their barbershops, right? To find their HVAC contractor, to find somebody to help them with podcasts and things of that nature.
Mhm. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And do you have how much traffic is moving into AI search? Do we know that? I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that off the top of your head. Maybe we can
I
get
don't
it
know.
for
Yeah.
later in the show.
Yes. You could probably I don't want to butcher the numbers. Google's
Yeah.
still the juggernaut. Okay. To be clear, it still
Okay.
has the most amount of traffic, but it is quicker than anything than ever before is the consumer behavior shifting to AI. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's a billion. It might even now be a billion weekly users that are using ChatGPT across the globe. Gemini has close to a billion each month. It's a substantial number.
Mm.
Still dwarfs in terms of Google search. But I think we're in this weird period, and I'm just going to use how I interact with it. I still use Google, but then I find myself when I Google something and I don't like what I'm getting for maybe in the AI overview,
Yeah.
which we can talk about, which is also some really impressive numbers.
Yep.
And then I take the conversation to Claude or ChatGPT or however I'm feeling that day. So we're talking about in the billions. Like even AI overviews have 2 billion monthly users. So it's a crazy number.
Oh, wow.
And this is where I just talked about this on a webinar yesterday. So AI overview, that little blurb at the top of your Google searches,
Yep.
that rolled out 2 years ago. And when an AI overview appears, 70% of those Google searches result in no clicks. even if you're position 1, 0 clicks. So the consumer is getting its
Mm.
information from the AI and it's out, or they're out.
Wow. Wow, that's huge. And we did pull a stat. There's a huge behavior shift, right? So we're just talking about share of home buyers using ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, or Google AI overviews as the primary agent research tool has jumped
Mhm.
from 17% to 67% in the past 18 months.
Yeah. What source is that?
That
Right?
that was, believe, your own study that
Oh,
we pulled
because
as well.
yeah, because I can rattle, because I was just
Yeah.
gonna rattle that number. I wasn't sure if you're looking at so 1,000 watt. I'll talk about 1,000 watt real quick. So they do some research, fantastic resource in the real estate industry. December, they survey 1,500 buyers and sellers. They
Okay.
dropped this in January, February. So it's relatively new, but time has still lapsed. Let's
Yeah.
call it 4 months ago. Of the 1,500 buyers and sellers, almost 50% of them said that they used AI somewhere in this transaction process, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was to find a home, find an agent, somewhere in the process. Of that number, 2/3 of them used AI specifically to find or evaluate the real estate agent.
Mhm.
It's shocking. Only 22% of these 1,500 said that AI had no bearing on their decision to choose the agent that they worked with, which means 80%, roughly 80% did.
Wow.
It's a wild number.
That's huge. That's a
Yeah.
huge number.
Huge.
And so obviously, I think real estate, I was just talking to an agent last night at this big networking event in Boston, and he was saying that the average agent only does 3 deals a year.
It's true.
Which I was shocked by. But it basically verifies how competitive this space
Well,
is, right? If you're an agent, it's a brutal local
yeah.
search fight out there, right? Highly competitive space, which is kind of that's where they live. So this really
Mhm.
affects
Yeah.
them a lot. They're selling the same houses in the same town, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
So there's not much. It's like, how do you brand yourself to say this is why you should choose me over the next person? I think AI searches, you guys are smart to go after that market right away. But I want to zoom out a little bit because for everyone listening, I feel like whatever works there is the stress test for everybody else listening. It's
Mhm.
not in real estate. So kind of with that, if I'm a founder in another vertical right now, like finance, tech, what is the digital entity or who's building it right now if I'm not, right? How do I get into this game?
Mhm. So think of let's first define a digital entity. What is this
Yeah.
fancy word? It's
Yeah.
basically a noun, like your name, your brand, your business. That is all one entity.
Okay.
So it exists, whether you're actively building or not. It's out there. It's think of it like it's all assembled from your, I don't know, bios, press mentions, profiles, podcasts
Like
that
your
you're on.
digital fingerprint.
Yeah, it's a fingerprint, exactly. And so if you're not, let's say, deliberately authoring your entity, like the machines are going to infer what it came from, like whatever's lying around out there on the web.
Okay.
Because where's AI pulling its information from? This is important too. Two places. You have the training data, the data that this model was trained on. There's a cutoff date. It's probably 6 months old, 9 months old, depending
Mhm.
on the model. Then you have the live web search. So for most businesses, we're not some massive brand. I would argue to say Salesforce is in the training data, right? Is FlyDragon in the training data? Probably not, but it's the long play. We
Okay.
eventually will be. So now we've been
Sure.
focusing on the web search. What's out there? There's something out there about every business, no matter how small or how big. So buttoning this up is super important. You have this opportunity in years to come to be in the training data as future models continue to roll out.
Got him. So wait, where are they? What are the top sources? You just went into that, but is it LinkedIn? Where are they quoting? Like, where am I seeding this information so that I now appear in the data?
Yeah. Okay. The
Just
short answer,
get
I give the
tacky.
short, I give the short one, then we'll dig in even deeper. But the short answer is anything publicly accessible, even Facebook groups, public Facebook
Anything.
groups,
Okay.
anything,
Cool.
bios, public Facebook groups, Reddit, LinkedIn, like other social media platforms, your website, third-party websites, newspapers, books, like you name it. If it's
Mm.
out there, it can get its digital hands on that. It's accessible.
All right. So, but if I have limited time and resources, what am I focusing on?
Mhm. Well, it's a tough question,
Come
Justin.
on.
The
Come
very
on. Give
first,
it to me. Give
I'm
it
gonna
to
give
us.
you an answer. Yeah, I'm gonna toe any line here. The very first thing I would say that anybody should do, and this is what we do for our clients, day number one is audit. We first have to
Sure. Where are we
assess
now?
the starting point. Exactly. So what are we auditing? Well, number one, the sources that AI cares mostly about will differ from what I do to what you do. So for real estate,
Mm.
I know that Zillow really, and also the models matter. So chat cares a lot about Zillow and the source called Fast Expert, Rate My Agent, and Yelp. Gemini cares a lot about YouTube because it's
Sure.
Google's ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So Reddit cited a lot by ChatGPT, not as much by Gemini in Google's AI overview will say. Facebook cited a lot by AI mode. So all of these different places they're weighted a bit differently. Our goal is as business owners, we want to be everywhere for as many query fanouts as possible.
Yes.
So the first thing you got to do is give me a hypothetical business here, Justin. Give me an industry or something that we can play around with.
Yeah. Let's go with a tech founder. Let's do that.
Okay, tech founder. Let's
Yeah.
say, what do they build here?
Tech founder building the cutting edge software platform right now in Boston.
Okay, some Boston-based software. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter location. Let's say that they have clients all over the country, but they're building maybe it's AI. It's an AI chatbot for websites. We'll say.
Okay.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ask every single major language model that question. I'm going to put myself in the shoes of maybe if it's B2B, this is the problem that I'm looking to procure the solution to. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT and Gemini, right, and Grok and Claude, here's my problem. I need this tool, this plugin for my website. Who can solve this problem for me? So that's the prompt, right? I just prompted AI to give me an answer. What you probably
Putting
might
yourself in their customer shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we do. I'm looking at the sources. What does chat tell? Chat's giving you the answer. You need to be there, right? But it's taking it a step further. What you're not seeing are the subqueries. So when you prompt AI or you ask a question, that's just a query. There are dozens in some cases. The average, I think it's 12 to 15. Last time I looked, some sources it's 20 subqueries, meaning you ask a question, it's going to ask itself 20 more questions before it comes to the answer. In some cases, Claude does a pretty good job. It thinks out loud. Now you can see the conversation. It's happening itself. I love that. It's really cool. But yes, so you're asking this question and it's looking at the sources of trust. So it's going to be different industry to industry. It's going to probably be looking at places like Trustpilot and Clutch, Google Business Pro. It's looking for reviews, right? So what are people saying about those that have the solution to this hypothetical business's problem? It's looking there. It's going to be looking at their website. What are they saying about their product and what problems they solve? Is it related to the problem that this person's asking AI to right now?
Mm-hmm.
So the answers are where it differs from say traditional search, Justin. That's like keyword. You're targeting keywords. AI, it's probabilistic, meaning this is where the entity comes back into play. If I were to ask, let's just say I type in Jaguar into Google, it's got to figure out if I'm talking about the animal, the NFL team, the car, right? It doesn't have the context. AI is having the same problem. It's trying to deduce what it is that we're searching for. And that's where the entity comes in. Okay, this is that beautiful looking four-legged animal versus mediocre football team.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's what I would be doing. If I'm trying to figure out how do I use AI as a marketing channel, I've got to first take an audit of where I am. What is my digital footprint looking like? Am I in the answers? Because the phone's not ringing or people aren't booking calls with your sales team. If you're not in the answers, you've got to take a look at those who are maybe in your space doing it well and kind of recreate what they're doing. You can reverse engineer their playbook is kind of the point.
Got it. Well, it's interesting what you just said, like business owners be everywhere. I talk about that, like omnipresent thought leadership. I don't think the funnel is a simple line anymore. I think it goes, it's everywhere. And you're kind of pulling information from here and there, deciding. And then when you enter the buying mode, you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to go after that person because they're in my mind. But we also talk about this gap between what the founders of the companies actually know and what the market sees, right? So that's the authority gap. And I think what you're describing, it's like that same gap, but then now AI, the machines behind the AI, the LLMs are like deciding who's credible on these searches. So like, how is AI deciding who to trust and then serve up in a search?
So yeah, it's
with SEO, it's all about like authority, right? So it's whatever is ranking is like the most cited based on a bunch of different things in the algorithm.
It's corroboration is what it's looking to do. It's not enough to just have this first party information. So I could say go FlyDragon.com is my website. And we do this, by the way, like a listicle, best AI SEO companies in real estate. Who's number one? Of course we are. This actually really works. Well, this listicle is a first party mention, so it won't get
Okay.
you to the promised land, but I think it's a missed opportunity. We do this for our agents as well. Who's the best real estate agent in wherever they're at? That's a page we create in their website.
Okay.
And we're not embellishing anything. It's all the proof points for this agent, how many homes he or she has sold in last
It's real
year.
data. Yeah.
Yeah, but what now AI is doing is, okay, found this source. We'll use the real estate example. Okay, who's the best agent in Boston, Massachusetts? Well, it finds this page for Tim Harvey, and it's all about he's the best in Boston. Okay, does this exist anywhere else? No, that's
I
suspect.
see.
That's suspect. Okay, can we corroborate the story? Oh, interesting. He is Real Trends verified. We trust Real Trends. This goes back to traditional SEO. We already trust Real Trends. It's a legitimate organization. They rank agents. You can't fake the funk. It's looking at production and saying, okay, this person truly is the top producing agent in Reno, Nevada, or Boston, Massachusetts. So trust Real Trends. They have a ton of organic traffic, strong domain rating. So that's where this is where the power of the third party mention is mission critical for AI visibility. Your proof points about your business and who you help and how many people you've helped, how you quantify why you should be in the answers needs to live off of your website and on as many websites with authority as possible.
Okay.
Review sites, press mentions, find opportunities for listicles to feature you in that list of the best, whatever it is that you do.
Yeah. Okay. So listicles work. I've also read FAQ pages work really well.
Say this with listicles, that's the number one ranking factor. Like,
Okay.
bar none. That is the best thing that any business can do. Google AI overviews, just looking at that same little blurb.
Yeah.
33%, give or take, of the sources it's citing are listicles right there.
Really?
So
Wow.
like 2 billion eyeballs are looking at that every single month. That's where I would want to be. If I could be in one place, it'd be Google's AI overview, and listicles can get you there.
Got it. It's like traditional media still works, plays a part in this. SEO, traditional SEO is working. And now I feel like social, you have Instagram, the TikTok just announced that they're doing more work with SEO. So they're all becoming SEO platforms as well. So you kind of have to do all of it. And then we tell a lot of people to have a strong point of view and to deploy that point of view content across LinkedIn is a big referral source. And then YouTube, obviously for Gemini, right?
Yes. For Gemini, for Google AI Overview, for Google AI Mode, it does consume a lot of YouTube. So yes, you have to basically do everything, which is like the worst news to hear as a business owner with limited resources. You have to be everywhere. You can't just, for real estate, it was up to 2017, get your reviews on Zillow. That's where you need to focus on getting reviews. Then it shifted. Okay, now Facebook, we've entered this social media era. Get your reviews there. People are using Facebook every day. Then 2019, we changed our tune and said, now get them on Google Business Profile so you can be in the map pack. Now I'm just like, unfortunately, I've got bad news for you. You need to diversify. You need reviews everywhere. You also need them on Fast Expert, Rate My Agent, Yelp, Realtor.com. You need them everywhere because these are all the sources that AI is trust and is looking at. So you do have to do it all, but it doesn't mean, I should say, because AI is looking at everything publicly accessible, it's considering it all. It doesn't mean you have to do, if you're not doing it all, okay, I'm not doing maybe social media, I'm doing YouTube, but I'm not doing LinkedIn, Facebook. You can still be in the consideration set, still be in the answers by just focusing on the most impactful AI visibility ranking factors. Because Justin, there's 200 of them. There's a lot of them. And so what are the most important ones? Number one, listicles. Get yourself featured, write your own for yourself on your website. Find opportunities to get yourself featured on other listicles that already exist, or you pay to play still works as well. So I'd focus there. Having the right services pages on your website still matters. Reviews matters tremendously.
Okay.
You've got to get reviews and you got to diversify, whether that's, again, Trustpilot, G2, Google Business Profile, Yelp, depending on, I would say, your industry. What is the standard where you're getting your reviews from? Clutch, I would diversify, but focus primarily on that main channel where your competitors are. And if you can see in the answers, when you ask who's the best person at doing this thing, look at the citations. Can you kind of see, is it looking at Clutch or Trustpilot? If that's the case, that's where I'd be getting my reviews.
Got it. That makes sense. So it's really, where does my customer live? that's unique to you and your industry and your ICP and all of that, and then start building from there.
Yeah, it's where the
Yep.
customer lives, but also what is the language model looking at? Because it's gonna when it
Good.
shows you that it'll
Yeah.
show you the full consideration set of here's everything I looked at, but here are the citations of these 15 different places on the web that I did this live
Mhm.
web search on. I cared about these three. These three allowed me to come to this conclusion. Those are the three that you need to focus on being on. Or if it's, let's say, maybe it's a competitor's website, obviously you can't be there, but what page are they looking at? Why are they citing that in particular page? Can you recreate that? So this is what I mean by
Got
the
it.
businesses that are already there are basically giving you the playbook that you can reverse engineer. Even for real estate, every market's different, Justin. Every Canada is definitely different than the US in terms of what ChatGPT is citing for sources. Up
Okay.
there, it's rank my agent. Down here, it's fast expert. Market to market's different. Here in Upton,
Mhm.
Mass will be different than probably Reno, Mass. And so if your business is geographically based and you don't work across the US or globally, and you can at least look at the competitors in
Local.
your market and see, yeah, see how the machines, what is it's telling you what it cares about. And you just have to either be there or recreate what it cares about.
Got it. You mentioned creating your own web pages to listicles? It's a separate page. Do you mean, can it be a blog post,
Mhm.
or do you frown upon blog posts?
No, we do blogs
Blogs
we
every day.
got
Okay.
like 3,000 a month. JD, that's JD's team, Jonathan's team, poor guy. But yeah, they're authoring 3,000 blogs a
For all
month
your
for
clients. Holy crap. Wow.
That's a lot. It's a lot. Of
It's a
course,
lot.
we're using AI, but we still maintain human in the loop. We're reading every single piece to make sure
Yeah.
it's perfect. But yeah, it could be a page or a blog. Typically, that is a page, an evergreen page that we'll create.
Okay. The listicle.
So, oh, I'm sorry, the listicle. I thought it was the couple different pages we're talking about. So
Yeah.
we have a best agent page, right? So who's the best real estate agent or realtor or team in Boston,
Oh,
Mass?
okay.
So that would be a page. If we have a listicle, top 5 real estate agents in Boston, you make sure you're number 1, right?
Right.
Don't put yourself last. But that probably too would be a page, but it could be a blog. It's not really there's not a hard and fast rule for I think looking at the site holistically and the URL convention matters more. But for us, if it's evergreen versus educational, that's page versus blog. So if we're
Mm.
writing a blog on or a piece on what are the best neighborhoods in X, pros and cons of living in X, right? Those would be blogs. Those are educational, and we're refreshing them periodically every 3 to 6 months to make sure that it
Okay.
stays fresh.
Got it. That's cool. I'm trying to get as much value for this show as possible
This could be a
from you.
week long. There's so much information, so I'm trying to talk
I
fast,
know.
throw in as much goodies as I can.
I know you're being a good sport. So I think your methodology has 7 pillars. Give me the ones a founder could start just working on this week.
I already gave you the answer. I want to see if I can come up
Is
with
this
a
a
better
repetitive
answer.
question? I'm sorry.
No, it's not. I said audit is what I would do. I can give you,
Yeah.
I would maybe the next thing, but just to be clear on what I mean by auditing, I'll use the real estate agent example because we live this every single day. The first thing that we do, we will go out and look at these 24 directories that AI cares about today for real estate. By directory, I'm talking Zillow. It's a portal, right? You can go there, you see the agent's production, how many homes he or she sold, how many
Mhm.
reviews they have there on Zillow. So of course, it uses that as a trusted source. Can you think about some portal or directory, some trusted source in your industry? Maybe it's a review site like Google Business Profile, or we mentioned Clutch and Trustpilot, or maybe there's something else specific to your real estate that you need to be on. Every one of your
Gotcha.
competitors is like Angie. If you're
Sure.
HVAC, home services, right? You should
Contractor. Yeah.
be on Angie, even if you don't pay to be there, but have that free profile claimed. Otherwise, it's just you're not in the conversation when it comes time
Mhm.
for the model to look at Angie. So I would audit everything, not just make sure you have the profiles claimed, but the information must be consistent. Same phone number,
Across all
same
channels.
address. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's an app, right? The old school. By the way, this is SEO, guys, right? This is old school SEO. Just the
Yeah.
end goal in mind is different. We don't care about the organic click because those are going away. We're going
Yep.
into the 0 click world. We care about the phone call, which is even better. You don't have to nurture these leads. They're picking up the phone and they're calling you. In most cases, if it's this hypothetical tech company, then they probably are going to the website and filling out a form still. But it's the end goal is different, but the principles of traditional SEO still largely apply to what we're doing with respect to AI visibility.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you still, random question, HubSpot obviously coined inbound and they built that whole framework for everybody. Do you believe in like lead magnets for even realtors, right? Like
Yeah.
calculators and different things like that.
So in real estate aside, of course I do, and we use them for FlyDragon.
Okay.
Real estate, I've been doing this for 10 years in real estate. It's so damn hard to come up with a good lead magnet. Think about what does the listing agent or the buyer's agent have to provide? On the buy side, even less. What is it? A checklist? It's like not something you're going to download if
No.
you're a potential buyer, usually. If you're, go ahead.
But well, I guess with AI, right, and AI search taking more and more share, consumer share and click, does it even matter anymore?
Oh, I see where you're going, I think. So this is funny. Because I'm on the ground floor. I'm looking at this every day for a year and a half, 24/7. And I just assume people understand. How do you bridge the gap from, okay, I'm in the answers and then what?
Yeah.
The phone just rings or you get a text message. This is what our clients are telling us every single day is happening. So they're thinking, okay, now that once I'm in the answers, like talking about retargeting and the lead magnets, and I'm confused. I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, oh, okay. I didn't explain this well. I'm like, hold on. It's way simpler than that. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get in the answers, and then somebody's going to see your name and they're going to pick up the phone and call you. Sound good? Like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. So it
Mm.
does simplify. Yeah, this is one channel and how consumers interact with it today. But
Yeah.
this is the anecdotal feedback coming my way from 130 real estate agents and teams across the US. It's either a phone call, a voicemail if you missed the phone call, or a text message. They're
Wow.
just picking up the phone. What better lead to get than someone saying, I just did my research. Yeah, I asked Claude,
Yeah.
you were the recommended listing agent. Come sell my home.
So you're saying they're really not, or it sounds like you're saying they're not going to the website. All right. So Claude is serving up a phone number to say, hey, call Tim.
We might
So
not
do
be
you think
serving up the
now
number.
websites, do they only serve AI agents, right? Should you be writing your website for the agent, the AI?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mean
And
to say agent to confuse people, but because you say real estate agents,
yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
for AI, right?
So yeah,
But
there's a lot to unpack here.
we're now moving into the future as
Yeah.
anyone looking to redo their website right now. But like, I don't go to most websites.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just got off the phone with a client who just wanted my opinion on moving from one website provider to the other. He spent a lot of time
Yeah.
paying him money to have this thing professionally designed, doesn't like this other quality. I'm like, look, my friend here,
Yeah.
this is my own opinion. I don't care about high quality design. Like if you can tell me, agent, how much can you quantify how much GCI commission from a real estate transaction over the 10 years of you had this website? Can you even quantify that? The
Mm.
answer, of course, was no. Like, I don't really care about it then. Because you got two sets of eyeballs. You have the consumer and
Yeah.
you have AI. I personally see how quickly things work when you cater to the AI set of eyeballs than the consumer. If you cater to the consumer, I'm thinking more of traditional SEO. You got to get 100 website visits for every one organic lead. Then you got to
Yeah.
chase the lead down. It takes forever. SEO. This happens quickly. We're talking 3 to 4 months on average, but some cases just a few weeks for go from not in the answers to being in the answers,
Wow.
which then the phone rings.
Wow. Wow. That's fast. It's very
It's
fast.
very fast. And I should also mention, Justin, they convert, and this is real estate specific and just
Yeah.
our clients. So it's not a huge sample size, but it's 130 plus agents, 80% close rate on these phone calls or text messages. For
Mm.
real estate, it's better than referrals. Because even if a past client or family member refers
Yeah.
somebody to you,
80%.
80% is
Really
awesome.
high. Very high.
Yeah, it's wild. So
Wow.
I tell the agent this every time because I don't want to overpromise. Don't expect your phone to be ringing every day. It's just not going to happen. But when it does ring, you have an 80% chance or better for that to be a client. And so you're
Got it.
not nurturing them. It's usually competing on a listing. Okay. Quick story. One of our agents in Reno walks into this home and they found him through, I think it was a probate sale. So he goes in and just asks the question, who else are you interviewing? He wants to know who's competing with. And the seller almost looked insulted. He said, I'm not interviewing anybody else. Model, whatever it was, Gemini, ChatGPT said you were the best. I did my research. You're the best. I'm listing this home with you. Agents aren't used to that. For the real
Wow.
estate agents watching this, you've got to compete. There are millions of agents. There are only 4 to 5 million transactions happening right now every year. And like you said, the average agent is selling a couple of homes a year. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're pretty pumped when they don't have to compete or chase.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. All right. I'm going to poke you a little bit here because you gave us one. You said like audit. Audit's like the number one thing you would do.
Yeah.
Give us one more. Give us like, what's
That's
the
crazy.
next important thing?
Press releases.
Okay.
I'll give a caveat. Maybe a disclaimer. I'll say. So when I say press release, getting featured in press like Wall Street Journal is fantastic if you can pull that off. Forbes. Most of us aren't getting phone calls from Forbes, but there
Okay.
are pay to play opportunities. So you can pay. Now Forbes is probably $2,000. Access Newswire can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Access is a great one. I would recommend Access Newswire. So just go to the website. You could submit for a press release. Think of an advertorial, right? It's an advertisement, but
Yep.
written in editorial format. AI, the machines are eating this stuff up. So here's the
So crazy.
disclaimer. It's great. I've done them for myself. In fact, if you ask who's the best real estate agent in Upton, Mass, I think it's me. I've never sold a home in Upton. I do have a license. So again, I'm not lying. There's nothing in there. It'll even tell you if you ask Chad, they'll probably say something like, doesn't look like he's ever sold a home here. And he was in the Marine Corps. He was the COO of this company over here. So he knows real estate, but he's only sold a handful of homes. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
I'm in the answers. Yeah. So anywho, so yeah, of course, we're using my real estate license as a sandbox. You can't hurt my real estate business. So we'll test ideas. If it works, we can roll it out.
Cool.
If it doesn't work, throw it in the bin. So I would say press releases. I would go to Access Newswire, pay
Okay.
the $500 or whatever. There's a few different tiers you can buy, but that gets syndicated across 300 different outlets. Yahoo Finance being one of them. Those are strong backlinks. Those are websites the models already trust. Now it's a third-party brand mention and backlink to you, assuming you're linking back to yourself.
That's great.
Depending on how you write it. So I would do that. But yeah, the disclaimer, Justin, is it won't stick for long if you're skipping everything else. So it might get you
okay.
pop for days, weeks, but it's not going to be there in perpetuity.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. And you mentioned you were a combat engineer for the Marines, right?
I was.
Yeah. So you've built things I would imagine that couldn't fail, right? They didn't have that.
Yeah.
How does that mindset show up in what you're doing right now for clients?
I laugh because we do as combat engineers. That term is ridiculous because we just do a lot of demolition. There is construction.
Okay.
We did a lot of construction as well. But people are like, oh, you're an engineer. I'm like, not what you think. No, we're like, we just
me. Okay.
we would build something, blow it up, and rebuild it. Basically, is what we're doing.
Wow. Wow.
So I'll answer with maybe the way you thought I would answer, but it's really important. Like, yes, we fought in the Marine Corps, and I was a major in the Marine Corps, right? Some of the guy reading the publications. So you got to understand the publications, but be prepared to deviate. As I say, the mission requires. Same rings true for AI visibility. We're not an agency, I would say. We're not doing bespoke work for the client.
Yeah.
Nor are we on the other end of the spectrum where like, hey, this is exactly the playbook. We're going to run this every single time and it's going to work flawlessly. I'd say it probably does 80 to 90% of the time. And that the other 10 to 20%, we're having to think outside the box. So being flexible in that, I'll give you a hypothetical. We're having an issue getting this agent to stick or this team to stick, whatever they are. They're not in the answers, and it's month 3, month 4. By now we should be there given their production versus it's usually metro markets give her a harder time, more competition, more agents we got to compete with.
Yeah.
So now we got to figure out, okay, what are we missing? Where are the opportunities? It might be, let's go seed posts in Reddit. That's like, maybe they're not in ChatGPT, but we got them in Grok early. We got them in Claude early, but they're not in ChatGPT and they really want to be there. And we know that has the most market share for the consumers. So, okay, well, what does ChatGPT care about? We know Reddit is one of the answers. And have we done any Reddit work for this client? If not, let's go find some subreddits where we can provide value. So a couple ideas here would be, and there's going to be dozens, if not hundreds of subreddits in any given market. There's so many users on Reddit. I'm thinking about moving to Boston. I'm relocating for work. What neighborhood should I be considering? Well, if you're writing the content on the website about best neighborhoods of Boston, you have the answer. So you can jump in with the TLDR. Hey, this is what I do. Here's my answer on best neighborhoods. I also have a blog that I wrote about this. Here you go. Check it out. So that's just leading with value. But there will also be these comments where I'm moving to Boston. Do you know any real estate agents? Things of that nature. So you could promote yourself, which always feels a little weird. Your clients might be Reddit users. Your employees might be Reddit users. Can somebody see that reply to recommend
on
you?
your behalf? Yeah.
Exactly. And when we do that, we see this 2 or 3 different users are recommending the same business. That I've seen it more than once, Justin, where that business is now in the answers in the citation. Because guess what? Reddit.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Interesting. Tim, is there a version of where great work still loses out because someone with worse work understood this system first?
It feels like it just feels like history. That's always been the case, in my opinion. You could be advertising, running Facebook ads, but not be the best at what you do.
True.
So
Yeah.
I think absolutely. I'll use me as the example. If I'm in the answers, which I am, for the best agent in Upton, I'm not the best agent in Upton. Here's where I sleep at night, Justin, because everything we do, I always tell every agent, we're not going to embellish, just the facts. It's all about how we structure that information, put it in the right places. The simplest way I can put it.
Okay.
So what does best agent mean in Upton? I've never sold a home in Upton, but how do you quantify best? Okay. So I play to my strengths. I've coached / trained thousands of real estate agents over the past decade on how to market their home. Perhaps I know how to sell a home in Upton if I ever get the opportunity or want to.
Yeah.
I also live in Upton, even though I haven't sold here. So you could say I'm the best in Upton because I reside here. So that's, if I understand what the question you're asking is, yeah, it's a marketing channel. You should never lie. You shouldn't do any black hat work either. But just like if I might be the best email marketer, but not the best at the services that I offer. Same with advertising or any other medium podcast host.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right. We're at the top of the hour, or maybe the bottom. I don't know. We're coming up on time, and it is time for rapid fire. So it's my favorite segment of the show. Rules are simple, Tim.
Sure.
No long answers. We just go quick. Okay. You can pass too. So we're going to go fast.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds fun.
ChatGPT or Google in 5 years? Who's going to win?
Google. Google's never going to lose.
Okay. One word for the average agent's AI presence today.
Ambiguous. They need to disambiguate.
Okay. That's a good one. Most overrated marketing tactic in real estate right now.
Oh, paid ads. Easy. Paid ads.
Okay. The Marines taught you blank that the startup world doesn't get.
Resilience.
Okay.
You want me to go? I'm doing one word, but I can add color.
You can add color. I'll give you you can add
a couple words, but yeah, resilience. You slept in the rain a lot, across the country in terrible places. Yeah, I remember coming into the corporate world. Now I'm a little bit older because I did 5 years active, then I got my master's after. So I would say I really hit the workforce in late 20s and around people almost a decade younger than me. I'm like, man, these people are soft. Right? This is not real adversity. So yeah, I think I could weather a storm that maybe the average person hasn't been subjected to.
Yeah. Well, I just read, now I'm breaking my own rules, but I just read Living with a Marine by Jesse Itzler.
Oh yeah. I met Jesse. He actually follows me on Instagram.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. That's a badass book. I read that.
Tell him he needs to come on the podcast. Okay.
All right. I'll DM him. He always writes back when I do. I try not to DM too much, but I'll tell him.
But that book is insane.
Awesome book.
Hilarious book.
I couldn't put it down. I got it as a stocking stuffer from my mother during Christmas. And I just started reading it Christmas Day and I crushed the whole book. It's a fantastic read.
It is. And I couldn't put down, I was laughing out loud, but
I could see both sides of it. That's the best part. Is
oh my God.
I could be in Goggins' shoes. I could be in Jesse's shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. The things they do. And I was like, holy shit, I thought I was in good shape. I am soft. Yeah. Right. Like it's time to get my button gear. So
the story where he broke the ice, that was my favorite part.
Yes.
Now we got to get home because the hypothermia sets 4 minutes.
It's holy shit. Okay. Sorry. Back to this. All right. A founder that has 1 hour a week for visibility. Where does it go?
Oh man, this is a great question.
Yeah.
1 hour a week. I would, not in such a bullshit answer, but because you don't need to do that much off page. So I would say if I'm doing this every week, it's going to be the content of the website. What questions are people asking and how can I answer them with the content of my website?
Got it. Okay. Will AI ever recommend someone purely because they paid for it? Do you think in the future?
In terms of ads?
Yeah. You think? Yeah.
Well, ChatGPT now has ads, but it's not recommending. It's very obvious as an ad. So I don't think so. And that could just be me being hopeful. I don't think it gets convoluted like that.
Because we mentioned it earlier in the show, pay to play for Listicles, they're like advertorials, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could argue it does happen today indirectly. Even with Zillow and Fast Expert, you can pay Fast Expert to get that recommended badge, and all of a sudden you're on the top of the agent list. Well, what is ChatGPT looking at? The top 3 or so agents on Fast Expert. So I could make the argument already it does happen, unfortunately. Just
I know,
indirect.
it was just crazy. When I
Yeah.
started learning about that 7, 8 years ago, I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. The wool was pulled over your eyes. Wait a
Yeah,
minute. Well,
because some of them don't even say, they don't even
yeah.
have a
So
cautionary note.
I would argue that ChatGPT doesn't know that. It doesn't understand that's how
Mhm.
Fast Expert or Zillow is monetizing position one. It's not always about the sheer number of sales. They could be paying for that placement.
Yeah. All right. So where can people find you? I know the website is goflydragon.com. Can they find you anywhere else? LinkedIn, anywhere?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn, Tim Harvey. They can find me on Instagram at the Tim Harvey. It sounds so pretentious, but the Tim Harvey is my LinkedIn or Instagram handle. DM me there. Always writing back.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Final question to wrap up. What
Yeah.
does reputation mean to you today?
Well, it's everything, both personally and professionally. I think
Yeah.
I put a lot into everything in my life, whether family or the business that I've been building here. It's everything to me personally. That's where your new clients will come from your existing clients. So if you have a bad reputation, you're going
Oh,
to have a leaky
100%.
bucket, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I bring that into the business, but also for what we do is all about reputation. It's reputation management. It's again, taking the information that already exists about you and putting it in the right places. So if you have a bad reputation as a business, you're going to have a much harder time getting AI to recommend you. So I would say reputation is paramount.
I love that. Tim, thanks so much for being on the show. I really
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for having me, Justin. This was fun. Thank you.
Awesome.